Ichikawa was in a bit of a pickle in the previous episode, whether it was him breaking his own arm and then having to come back home early and having to meet up with the PAISEN, albeit it wasn't his plan to meet up with the PAISEN. But in the end, everything sorted itself out, right? Moeko came and helped Ichikawa. Ichikawa finally was able to confirm his feelings for Yamada with somebody else, right? There's a difference between having it just stuck in your brain and then having someone who would listen to you and give you a genuine response, which was with the way that Moeko did, right? With her saying, hey, I already know that you like her. You didn't have to tell me, but he had to tell her anyways. It's that feeling of confirmation. So it's very nice. New Year is coming, and so we've also got Yamada who's trying to make plans with him as well. So it'll be interesting to see what's gonna happen in the new year. And also, I've got other people commenting about what they felt with the PAISEN as well, with the specifically manga readers who kind of have the same opinion as me, where it really feels like the anime makes him feel a whole lot slimier, especially with that anime-only scene. And you know, my issue with that is, well, the PAISEN is not a very likable guy, but at the same time, it gives you some sort of redeemable traits within him, where he could grow out of this phase that he's in, because he is in middle school, so he's got a lot to learn, and he's got a lot to grow up for, and whether he grows out of this phase or not is, well, it all depends on him. And well, for me, right, with these sort of characters, with these characters that have, like, very negative traits, that have bad impressions, I always feel like, even if it's not part of the story, even if it's, even if it's not how the writers would intended it to be, I always feel these sort of characters, you know, I think about people in real life and who are in this sort of situations, because you don't really come into this mindset, someone like the PAISEN, with the way that he chases girls, right? He doesn't, this isn't something that you just jump into the mindset like, this is what I'm going to do, right? This is something that I would assume he sees through media, something that he sees other people have done, and that's why he imitates it. It's not, it's often not something that a person is just going to be like, yeah, this is how I do it, right? So, like, it's something that perhaps he has seen works on social media, on the legacy media, and he's decided that this is what he's going to do, and perhaps it has worked before, and that's why he's like, okay, I'm going to do it like this. And so that's my personal feeling about the PAISEN. And again, because he is in middle school, I just have this rather optimistic feeling, or at least I try to, because as much as it is, I get very cynical, and I get very what's the opposite word for being an optimist, because I'm not an optimist, right? I'm a pessimist. But being cynical and being pessimist all the time, I feel like is really good for my body. So I try to have some sort of an optimistic outlook, and usually I put that on for people who are kind of like this, where again, it feels like they got all these bad traits, but perhaps they are somewhat redeemable once they grow up. Also, if we had seen the same story and it comes from like when they're in their college years or something, I kind of feel like I would also still sort of have that same mindset, where except it's not that he's growing up. I feel like young adults are still in like the growing phase, because I mean, you don't really, your brain doesn't really stop growing until you turn 25, and by the time you graduate from college, if you go through that path life, right, you usually be like 21 or 22 or something, right? You're still growing, even though you're a full-fledged adult or whatever, but you're still growing until 25. All right, I feel like I went on a rant and I've just interrupted my own flow. So the PAISEN. Okay, my outlook overall, right, for these sort of characters, or just characters overall, or just people overall, right, in real life or whatever, I feel like people can change and will change for the most part, right? It's always that idea of that you see in these sort of anime or shows about like coming of age, right? These coming of age type of show where the kids are always worrying about change, and or they'll talk about how like they'll never change or whatever. I was thinking about Yuri's My Job, but people can change and they will change over the years. whether they like it or not. You know, it's a little bit less not normal if you stay the same person throughout your entire life, which is, you know, it's whatever, right? There has to be, even if you don't change personality-wise, right? It always feels like there should be some sort of change in your body, whether it's like it's the type of food that you like or whatever, or something that you might like back when you were a kid, you might not like again when you're adult, and vice versa. You know, like, even if those minuscule changes, like, the changes, like, in everything that we are, we always, and will always be changing in the end. But when it comes to, like, mistakes and such, right? People who are making bad decisions, I feel like people like that could also change, but they're not doing it because either they've never been given that opportunity to change before, or nobody has ever told them that they can change. Well, they feel like they're probably stuck in this life that they're in right now, and they won't be able to change, so nobody has given them that opportunity. Or somebody has given them that opportunity, but they refuse to do it, right? They don't want to change because they're afraid of change, or they're very much comfortable in this spot that they're in. But again, humans have to change. We have to evolve eventually and emerge into our true self. Now, if I had said this to, I don't know, like 2018, 2017 Ike or something, let me tell you, 2017 Ike and 2018 Ike, and specifically 2016 Ike, God, they're a bunch of fucking assholes. But yeah, just overall, you know, people change, and that's my philosophy on that, and that's why I give people benefit of the doubts, even if I shouldn't. Right? People who are having these, like, really, who are making bad decisions, I feel like they can change for the better. They just need to be given that opportunity to do so, and then at that point, it's their decision on whether they want to or not. And if they don't want to change and they continue to do bad things, then, well, fuck them. Fuck them, dude. Sorry for the long intro, but it is the final episode, so I want to make this point of thank you guys for sticking around and watching these long episodes. I really appreciate you guys, and I just appreciate you following me from the beginning. If you only really started, because I know that these reactions for me picked up like episode 7 or 8 or 9 or whatever, right? So it's the later half, so like even if you guys only joined in the later half, I still appreciate you guys. But you know what, I appreciate the people more who came from the beginning. Oh, I'm not playing favorites, what are you talking about? But if you guys enjoy the content, remember to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't. And if you didn't like the content, dislike the video, and we'll be on our way. Let's get started. New year, new first temple visit. Y'all didn't even get to see the first sunrise? Come on now. Same thing in half an hour. The perfect schedule, but remember last time y'all made a meeting? She came early. Wow, that's a nice necklace. Why are you always early? Why does the mom just have an arrow in her bag? He's wearing her scarf too, I just realized. She keeps checking her mirror. Wow, I wonder, huh? Yeah! Who is she waiting for specifically, huh? This person that she likes. Let's go, Yamada. I'm gonna meet the whole family. Look at that. Gotta get that first strong impression. The wiggly lines. Oh, I forgot to mention that there's the announcement for, not announcement, but like there was a leak saying that it's going to be a season 2 coming out. I haven't really seen an announcement about it yet, but that's what I've been hearing from my Discord server. Join my Discord. Not as weird as that all the time. Ah! Look at her fucking talking to your parents out here, dude. Oh, oh. It's the thought that counts. Well, you can always just do it like this, you know, right here where your chest is. Okay, I saw that circle and all I thought was the OBS sign. The symbol. That means to stay. Yeah, not even you guys' relationship. Come on now, Ichikawa. Oh! A budding socialite. I wonder why. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, sister's coming. A better first impression. Ooh, fried chicken! Best around! Just find the girl with all the food. Come on now, your sister is inviting her to your guys' house. Why wouldn't she not accept this? Remember that keychain she was showing him last episode? By she, I mean both of them. And she was coming on over. Uh-oh, uh-oh, oh, here she is. Hey, that kid has an arrow thing. That must be a New Year thing then. Oh. Uh-oh. If your sister sees that, or if Yamada sees that... Man, he really came in for the assault. One-san. Dude, she just had like 2 buckets of fried chicken and cotton candy. Ah, too shiny, ah! Damn, dude, already trying to get into first name. You are his eyes. Trying to get him to say it. Alright, I can't. Oh god. Oh no, I can't stop thinking of the meme from this fucking manga pan. So just me, it's fine that she's close. Dude, you're fucking giving her so much ammunition! Oh god, the horror of... of your sister, parent, fucking... God, they just blur everything out. It's fucking great. She is setting out all the fucking trap cards right now. He didn't go to the school trip. No, Yamada's red. Oh, it seems like she did see it. Sound overbearing, but thanks. In the end, she's just a big sister who cares about her little brother. I mean, you technically already did, but yeah. Oh yeah, y'all got matching keychain. Hell yeah, Kana. She did her business and left. It's the right thing to do. God, that's a huge sink, I just realized. That's a... Aww. Oh shit! The tall girl took your stuff! So she looked at Cheese at photo album. Yeah. Oh really? It's interesting. Kobayashi's in there. I emptied it. But you don't hang out anymore? So you guys don't hang out with each other anymore just because they went to private schools? We saw that many episodes ago, a flashback from Ichikawa. Essay contest poster. Glory days of elementary. It's like psychology. I mean, yeah, sure. We'll talk about like the psychology. Oh, what's behind there? I could lead a whole secret life. Oh, she's got pink nails. That's nice. So she painted her nails. I didn't even realize. Oh, the disarray in her eyes. That's very nice. Ah! My guy, how many pictures are you gonna take of the one same picture? It's a still photo! Yamada. Oh shit, Yamada's running! Look at that. She wants you to know more about her. Adios! What, she's just gonna bring the fucking yearbook to school? Oh, we're showing this again, huh? This was a flashback in like the older episode. It was like episode 3 maybe? I can't remember. Even after. And then he didn't. No narration though. We just had a very intense piano. It's messing with my dreams. Giving me flashback out here. Oh dude, look at those abs! Holy shit! Where's your shirt? Bare it all. Holy shit, you see the lines to his ass? Like, what the fuck? He's so buff. Oh, beat us! They're giving her responsibilities. She's looking for the keychain now. Come on. That's the name. Kentaro Kenjiro. Yeah, come on now. Well, she's got 2 hands. Put it there for everyone to see. Come on now. I just realized Ichikawa's backpack is a whole different brand. Oh, first episode. I want to be seen. That's what the title was, right? Gotta give us that little recap to everything. Everything that's happened so far. You see how light his grip was during that time? I mean, you wouldn't be able to see it because, you know, in the YouTube cut, it's gonna be censored. I never wanted to come to school. Well, that's why your family says to Yamada. He's been finding school fun. Trying to give Yamada the credits, dude. Mm-hmm. It's armor. Felt a little bit of emotion there. Yamada, you're gonna have to pick that up again. I got it. Oh my god! I just really like the details in that. Yeah, y'all been out here hugging each other? Oh, there's Moeko. 3 hearts in the shape of a clover. I want it to be seen. Alright. Yeah, it ended the way that I expected it to be, which is to just end it at volume 4. So, you know, Ichikawa still got his arm broken and all that, but that's okay. It's a good place to it's a good place to end, I personally feel, because, you know, this is him just slowly opening. He did it in like the Shibuya date as well, where he talks a little bit about himself. And here, right, with him finally confessing how he felt during his first year of middle school, and that is accompanied by all of the flashback that the one flashback that we've got, or the 2 technically. It's kind of 2 flashback. Nah, it's 1 long continuous flashback. Okay, anyways, with that to accompany, you know, the truth that he's been hiding inside himself this whole time, and as imaginary Kyotaru said, you know, if I'm your heart, this is what your heart wants. Your heart wants to bear it all. You know, your heart wants to be seen. Your true self wants to be seen. Okay, well, I'll just get this part out, just so, and then if I repeat it again in the discussions, whatever. Anyways, with this part and him giving credits to Yamada for him being the reason that he is now, and then for Yamada to hear that, first of all, like, that's a lot, right? Like, I've changed because of you. But that's a big thing. But at the same time, right? Could we also not say that Yamada has changed because of Ichikawa as well? And so, you know, perhaps having that in her head, she ends up giving that credit back to him. And I really like that, instead of taking that credit and just being like, yeah, that's right. It's me, bitch. right? She spends that credit and she hands it back to him and saying like, hey, if you've never come to school, because as you said, back in your first year, you didn't really come to school as much, but if you hadn't come to school, you would have never had the chance to talk to me, and we would have never had this whole relationship in the first place. So, like, if you're gonna thank someone, thank yourself for fucking coming to school. And, and it's just, it's just so nice, right? And towards the end of all of this, this is where we finally see Ichikawa just finally being able to bear open and have everything laid bare to Yamada, right? And then having Yamada coming in to give him a hug, just a little like, there, it's okay, child. A little head pat and everything. And we've seen before that he's not the he's not the aggressor, right? He's not the initiator. He's not the sort of guy who's going to be the one who grab the other person's hand or whatever, right? It's always Yamada who's initiating this whole thing, whether it's them hugging or whether it's them holding hands, whether she's the person who's bumping into him, right? She does that often as well. And so she's the one who's always been the one doing that, and usually he's just kind of like, whatever, right? Like, even though she's doing this, we're not friends and whatever, he's still trying to have that thought. We see in the Shibuya date that he finally begins to reciprocate, for the most part, right? He begins to reciprocate his feelings back to Yamada through the physical form, which is holding her hand, having an actual grip against her hand, making sure that she knows that he has a grip on her, and even through the hugging part, even though he wanted to hug her that one time during the I Hate Yamada portion, like episode 9, and also he didn't back down from the hug that Yamada gave, but he didn't hug her back because he was still trying to hold back his feelings, because like perhaps this whole thing would never play out, so he doesn't want to hug her back. But here towards the end, with him and especially the sister talking about how like, oh, I think you probably have a chance, just saying. Right, and that getting into his head, and again, his heart being laid bare, he finally decides that he's going to hug her back. Despite his broken arm, right? He has one hand, so he has one arm still, so he uses that one arm to hug her back, and she realizes this is the first time that he's hugged her back. So it's a big significant change, and it's a big significant highlight for the both of them here in this situation, and it's very nice overall. Alright, I'm gonna go right back to the center. Alright, so that was the final episode of The Dangers in My Heart. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comments down below. You know that I always like talking to you guys. For me, I thought that this was a great episode. We've adapted the last 4 chapters. I think the last 3 chapters, maybe? Or is it last 4? Hold on. Let me double check just in case. No, it's the last 4 chapters of Volume 4, and it went out pretty much the way that I expected, as I mentioned before. Although they did have a bit of an anime-only part where she hands him a bag of empty shrimp chips, and then gives him a candy that has 3 hearts in the shape of a clover, like luck and love. Okay. Anyways, I do want to just make this mention again that I thank you for sticking around and listening to this whole thing. I really appreciate you guys, and I hope you guys stick around even after the show. But if I don't, I'll see you guys when I see you guys and all that. But let's get back into the beginning, which is Ichikawa going to the temple with his family, and he, as he says, he double booked it, actually, as Yamada says, where he's supposed to make this whole plan where he's supposed to meet her in half an hour, and that he was going to make an excuse to to leave his family and then go talk to her, but then he totally forgot that the last time they went on a meeting and all that, right, in Shibuya, she came early, so here here he is realizing his mistake, that his family is here and fucking Yamada is here as well, and it's just He's over here like, why are you always so early? I'm like, look, if you knew that she was going to be here early, maybe you should have set the time a little bit better. If you know she's gonna be here 30 minutes early, I'm just saying. But his plans got thwarted, and as I mentioned, he's wearing the scarf that he gave her, which is very nice. If somebody could explain to me what this arrow thing is, I assume it's a New Year thing, because is this connected to the arrow? If that's connected to the arrow, I would assume it might be like a good luck, not a good luck charm, but it's like a charm or something, or at the very least, it's like one of those things that has like, I assume it's some sort of charm, something for like New Year or whatever, because I saw that other kid in the, later on in the episode, I saw a kid holding an arrow as well, so I'm just curious on what that is. Anyways, the family sees that Yamada is here, and Kana, who was interested in Yamada since, she knows that he's been talking with her and perhaps there's a chance. And she's over here a little intimidated because she's just like, holy shit, this is not who I expected Yamada to be, right? Because the only impression that she's got about Yamada is her handwriting. And her handwriting was so bad that Kana thought that she was a boy. We've also got Kana, who's asking whether she has a boyfriend or not, and he's like, well, why? Why do you think that? And of course, Kana, she's seeing this through woman vision. She sees what's going on out here. She's like, this girl's all dressed up for a New Year, to visit the New Year shrine for some reason, right? She keeps checking her mirror. She's working on her smile. Like, she's clearly waiting for someone she likes, and he's just over here like, oh shit. The other thing that I like is, as they're quarreling, Yamada overhears them finally, right? Well, I mean, they're making a lot of noise, and she sees him with her family. She's just like, oh shit, and she just, with a bit of a frown, but she's like, I got this. And she just, she fucking got it all right. She came to the event. She came to his family, introduced herself, made a good impression on everybody for the most part, and she got through this family visit with Ichikawa. We also have this scene, of course, where she's helping him make his wish and all that, but yeah, it's whatever. We've got the whole thing of like her asking what did he want for change, and he just says, I want things to be the same, and of course she's just like, so you want nothing to change, even our relationship? She got a little pouty, a little pout in her cheeks. Yeah, this person also has an arrow too with a little tag on it. I can only assume that's like a charm, or whether it's their way of doing that whole like, like you've got a good luck, you got bad luck, or you've got horrible luck, that sort of thing. I wonder if that's the case, but that's interesting. So Yamada leaves, and Kana talks about how, like, she seemed very mature for her age, and even Ichikawa was like, whoa, I can't believe she was acting quite mature around my family. And that's not the usual Yamada way, right? But she wants to make a good first impression on your family, so... And so, as Ichikawa tries to bail out, we've got Kana, who decided that she wants to make a better first impression, because she was, as Ichikawa sees in his head, kimoy. Ooh, a little gross, a little disgusting. It's like, is that how you act is that how I act all the time? Hope not. But, they went back to the festival, and of course... This right here is so fucking, it's such a Yamada thing. She just comes back, like, her mouth is full of fried chicken, and she's just like, oh yeah, I brought some food for you. She's got a whole bag of cotton candy down here too, and I don't know what this is. I assume it's takoyaki. She's got takoyaki right there. She's got... Wait, no, she has 2 boxes of takoyaki, consider that she's buying it for him as well, right? She's buying two buckets of fried chicken and 2 boxes of takoyaki. And then she went back to their house and had some soup. Hey, yo, this fucking New Year's stacked, dude. It's stacked. We've got Kana, who invites Yamada over to the house, and of course Yamada isn't going to say no to this opportunity. We've got this part right here as Kana comes to the realization that Ichikawa truly does have a chance. It's from the one page extra that we've got right after her inviting her inviting Yamada, because that's the end of the first chapter in this episode. So yeah, here's this scene, her realizing that Yamada said, "I bought you some too," and then remembering all that other stuff and just banging her head against the fucking pole. There are some things that they kind of skimped out a little bit, but that's totally fine. Which the first one is him realizing that Yamada's got the strap, and we don't really need to see the part of him actually running on over. We can just kind of just have that imagination, right? Because he's like, oh, I can't let my sister see that, so he just runs right in, and then we cut to Kana, and Kana just looks back to see this. But I enjoy it. It was just him trying to hide the dog stuff. Kana, of course, does see it in the end, right? She sees the dog and the boobs. The usual question of, are you in junior high? And it's, you know what, people, it's, it's like, you're sure that you're in junior high? And you're like, look, girls hit their growth spurt in, like, elementary, alright? They grow first before the boys. And consider that she hit her growth spurt already, right? And it's whatever. I'm not gonna go over this. But she had a nice time interacting with Kana, and that's very nice. And we've got Kana, who's trying to make friends with Yamada, because of course she is. And this whole scene, right? This whole scene is just Kana laying down trap cards for Ichikawa. She just knows that her little brother is going to just walk all over these traps, right? He's just absolutely failing to get the upper hand out here, whether it's her asking him, like, oh, what's her name then, right? Like, what's her first name, if you're if you're gonna be a little defensive about this, right? And Yamada joins in too, and as I've mentioned, this part right here, it's a fucking meme. Such a fucking meme. And and here in this part is where Kana would give the keychain back, the little dog chain. I think in the manga, she either, because like in the anime, right, she puts it on the couch for him to see it, but I think he puts it in his, no, he didn't. No, she didn't. No, she did put it, yeah, she did put it right next to him on the couch, just because she noticed it. And even if she didn't notice it, I mean, she would probably notice it like right now. Yamada's just having it right there. Anyways, the second trap that Kana laid out for him is the yearbook, and also the fucking gotcha point right here where he pushes his sister away and she says, oh, just me, it's fine that she's close. Like, dude, Kana is eating you up right now, boy. And here's the second trap, which is the yearbook, and she breaks it out and she shows it to she shows herself, but Ichikawa thought that she was showing him, because that's what a usual sister would do, but he fell into her trap, and so she ends up getting his yearbook as well, and we get to see Ichikawa in his elementary years, as he says, his past glory days. Dude, look at this picture, dude. Everybody is so colorful in the way that they dress, and then here's just Ichikawa. Relatable. He's wearing like fucking cargo pants as well. Relatable. It is a very interesting feature that they've decided to just censor the pages. Like, it looks very odd that it's like so heavily censored like this, or they're using like a sort of blur, whether this is like a camera blur or something. All right, but like the blur is just so much, it's a little off-putting. They use it for all the other stuff as well when they're looking at books. But then they have like stuff detailed in it, so I'm just kind of like, what's the point of putting a fucking blur in it? Oh, whatever. Oh, we've got more of Ichikawa's stuff, and she asked about the, I don't know why she says it like this, like or at least the person who translated this. I don't know why they wrote this as school outdoor excursion. Just say that he went on a school trip. It's the camping trip, right? This is the camping trip that they're talking about in elementary, the one that happened in like October or whatever. And here we have a bit of a sore spot for Ichikawa, right? she stops smiling. She's just like, oh no, he never went to the camping trip. And we've got Ichikawa, who finally decides, that's it, no more. I'm done being teased, and I'm gonna fucking grab it. And as well, actually, as what Ichikawa said in the previous episode, well, in the Shibuya date, he said that if I don't want things to happen, I'm going to say no, right? I'm not going to take shit, or at least that's what he says, but, and here he is, right? Despite him not wanting it, he still kind of lets them do it. He still lets Yamada look through his New Year page, his New Year book, his yearbook, despite him kind of not wanting it, until we get to this point where she asks about the school trip, or the camping trip, and this is the part where he finally decides, no, this is it, no more of this. I am outie. And as Kana is his sister, she's decided that, yeah, she's gonna leave as well. I'm outie. I made plans with my friends. You can stay though, Yamada. You can stay with him. It's alright. And here we've got Kana giving him back the keychain, because she realized that, oh, these dudes got a chance, and he probably must have bought this for Yamada, and, she doesn't want this. She doesn't want this. She'd rather just give it to him. He overhears Kana talking to Yamada, I hope that I'm not being overbearing, and she says, thank you for being friends with Kyo-chan. And also, the lips kind of gets me a little, when she does that little, like, the little pucker in her lips, I'm just like, oh, that's a detail I didn't realize I needed. But yeah, she thanks him for being his friend, and she says, I'm happy for him. Right? In the end, as we've learned, Kana cares about her little brother, even if she does it in a very teasing manner. We know that she cares about him, as when he was sick with a fever, and she said like, hey, I came home early just for you. Right? That feeling of like, hey, you're sick and all that, I'm gonna be here, and I'm gonna I'm gonna take care of my little brother, even if she does it in like a very cringy way where he's just like, stop it. It's like a parent knowing that they love you, but they also just want to make you suffer a little, make you squirm in your body from the fucking cringe that they're giving you. So I very much enjoyed Kana and Ichikawa's relationship with each other, and with the whole like brother, like sister, or vice versa technically, but like brother, like sister. She gets a little weird, right? Even though she says, I'm a socialite. She gets a little weird around Yamada, and it's that same feeling that Ichikawa kind of gets when he talks to girls. It's that point that Kobayashi had made when he was helping her out with studying, and she's just like, hey, how come you can talk to Yamada fine, but when you talk to me or some other girl, you're always stuttering, saying and then when he does exactly that, she's just like, see, like that right there. So it's like that, except when you transfer it over to Kana, she just gets as Ichikawa says, she gets a little gross, right? A little disgusting. She gets that little squirmy lips. She gets a little nervous, but she's still she's still able to talk to them for the most part. She just gets a little fluttery. So that's a nice little detail for how similar him and his sister are. Man, this is a face of Kana that I didn't realize I also needed. Dude. But, he's got the keychain again. Yamada comes in, she realizes they're matching keychains, because of course. Oh, how nice. And there's this next part. Oh, wait, I just realized, is that an oven and a microwave? Why don't you just have an oven microwave? Yeah, that's a microwave. That's an oven. Okay. Anyways. I love Kana walking away like, my job is done. I'm outie. Third wheels know when to roll out. Here's Yamada doing the dishes, of course. How nice of her. And he's over like, you don't have to wash the dishes, and I say that you should. If you come over to someone's house and they offer you food and you finish that food, right? Well, I mean, even if you don't finish the food, but you should still clean the dishes, especially if there's like nothing else in the fucking sink. Right? If there's nothing else in the fucking sink and you're gonna put your fucking dirty dishes in someone else's house, you might as well wash them. You're gonna be nice. But I like that she's decided to do this, and then Ichikawa, he decides that he's gonna go grab the yearbook, and he's going to take it back to his room because, well, his sister took it. And even though this is the one part that I'm being very nitpicky about, where I kind of wish that they showed her just silently following him instead of just cutting to it. But I'm totally fine with like the cut that they did here as well, right? As I said, this is a nitpick. It's not like it's not gonna like ruin my experience or something. It's just me being a fucking manga head. But here we are with Yamada being in the room But here we are with Yamada being in the same room as Ichikawa and her talking about talking about his sister and all that, right? Because she's trying to get a good relationship with his family. She's also has stolen his yearbook as well with this fucking censored, these fucking blurry ass vision. So this is where Yamada out herself again and her saying, oh, I've already seen this yearbook because Kobayashi is in the same elementary year as you, and I got her to show me it. But it's not like I'm interested in you or anything, okay? I just wanted to see the yearbook that you also happen to be in. I also enjoy Ichikawa having to check his wastebasket. Oh god, thank god there's no tissues in there. And I like this small interaction between them as well, right? She's like, hey, take a seat. He doesn't take, from the way it is, I sort of expected him to sit like right here. So the fact that he took one step over and sat a little bit closer to her, I was like, okay, that's totally fine. But he sits down and she just moves right in. And so we get a little bit of detail of these two, right? His elementary buddies. They used to be in the same cram school and they hung out a lot. However, the both of them are now in a private school and they're not really in contact. So a little sad, but that's just how it goes when you go to different school and everything, right? Never mind. Okay, so the whole private school thing, she decides to skip out on it because she knows that that's a hard topic for him. And she decided that she's gonna go browse all his other stuff, right? All his certificates, all his trophies, you know, his glory days, as he says. And a national prize. Wow, dude, that's a lot. And then finally she gets into his murder stuff, right? These are the stuff that we saw in the beginning of the episode. The episode? The anime, I mean. And the only thing that I kind of wish they showcased us was more of Ichikawa's thoughts, because like the one thing that they had to do in order to get, you know, everything fitted all together is that they had to remove a lot of Ichikawa's thoughts. And so here in this part, right, we've in the manga we've got an inner turmoil of him just being like, oh fuck, she sees my murder stuff, right? She's gonna be gross. Oh, you know, why am I saying this? Why am I talking about this? That whole thing. But it's just that the way that without the thoughts here and the way that his expressions is showcasing here. Hold on, about minds of murder and stuff. We see a little bit of an eye quiver, right, and him looking away. So I suppose that would to showcase that he doesn't really want to, you know, showcase this side to her. And then here's Yamada, who just goes and says, wow, that's fucking cool, because I mean, look, the usual response would perhaps if someone sees that, right, it would be ugh, gross, as we saw in his flashback, right? Anyways, yeah, her deciding that she's not going to say that he's gross or anything. She just says, wow, that's cool, that's like psychology, right? And she brings that into a different topic of like, oh, since psychology, you can read into my mind, right? Which goes to the whole telecommunicating thing that Yamada was trying to do towards the PAISEN in order to get him the fuck away when he was trying to ask for a line. And that was the same thing that he said to the PAISEN as well when he was trying to ask him for her line. Anyways, we get to see this nice part where she sees the Seal magazine. He realizes that, I mean, he bought this magazine because she's in it, but he just wants to cover it, and in the end, you know, he's on top of her. How nice. And very, also, the camera is like, the camera is zoning down to like his collarbone, right? To showcase that, and also just swallow heat, you know, from his hand, because they're very close to touching each other. And this push, right? This, I love it. Just the way that she just slowly push him out, pull her legs in, and get out and apologizes, like, hey, sorry for poking through your stuff. But also because he's fucking injured, right? You shouldn't be just pushing, and also he's on, you don't want to push someone off the bed, even if even though it's all just an accident. So, and she knows that he's not doing this because of for other ulterior motives. I mean, the ulterior motives is he wants to hide it. He wants to hide the magazine, but she knows that he's not doing this out of other things. So she and just the way that she pushes him off, right? It's just a very nice and gentle push, because again, he's injured and she doesn't want to hurt him, but she does want to get herself out of this situation for right now. And as Ichikawa is just over here thinking about how, like, oh man, I'm done for, I got on top of her and everything, and she's over here taking several pictures of the same one. Excuse me, Yamada, what the hell? Do you really need that many takes? And then she runs away. She's really getting out of here. I like that next time I'll show you my yearbook. Okay. I thought she stopped him, like, in the middle of the stairs, but she stopped him right in front of the stairs. And she said she's gonna show him her new year next time. And Ichikawa, of course, thinks about, like, oh my god, is she inviting me to her house? And then he backtracks, because of course he does. He backtracks and he's just like, no, that can't be. She can't be the one who she can't be the one who is, I don't know where that sentence was going, but it was just him backtracking. And in the next scene, we get to see a Ichikawa flashback. We saw a glimpse of this in the early episodes as he was still trying to figure out his feelings for Yamada and 1503. He did not pass for the school. I assume it's the same school that his two friends were planning on joining, because the both of them are in a private school and he didn't get in. And he feels very sad about that. Here in the graduation, right, his friend saying, let's hang out even after we start junior high, and yet we haven't fucking seen them, right? We haven't even seen him talking to them. And then with his expression, where the both of them were just kind of like in tears, a little bit smiley, like, hey, let's hang out after, even if we've gotten into different junior high. And he's just over here like, yeah. I don't think he's going to contact them afterwards. But we see him in his first year, right? And these guys who are just trying to get Ichikawa to come join their group, he sees that he's using the murder files, which scares all the boys away. Right? Gives him this imagery of this fucking freak who's going to probably commit murder or something, because he reads a lot of murder shit. Ichikawa wakes up from this nightmare and he sees his inner self, and also him taking his books, and so his inner self is like, you never learn. That stuff might scare people off again. He says, let it. It's what I'm into. Where's your shirt? Yeah, I'm a mirror of your heart. Maybe you really want to show it all, everything inside. What a fucking lad, dude. What a fucking lad. I just want to bear it all. Yamada looking like this, oddly enough, she looks a lot more like her manga self. Anyways, we've got Yamada, who just wants to see Ichikawa with his keychain on, Kenjiro, as she calls him. So they take him to the back of the school in order to put this on him, and she's just like, oh, let's put on the lower button, which is like right here, I guess. It's still in the front, but it's whatever. I bet everyone's inside already. And then she's looking back, and then this makes him think about the first time that, well, he saw her in the anime. It's not that it's his first time, but it's the mandatory little flashback of everything that we've gone through for the whole season, right? It's mandatory. You've got to have a bit of a recap somehow. And they decided this is the part where they show the recap, so it comes in a very understandable way, because it makes it look like he's thinking about all the times that he's spent with Yamada, and he goes and he says it's strange. And as she asks what it is, he goes and he talks about his year one. Right, back in year one, I never wanted to come to school. I stayed home a lot, even lied my way out of events. But these days, I don't hate it anymore. And that's probably thanks to you. Well, once he gets past his whole, right? Probably thanks to you. And while I went through all of this, right? He's trying to give credit to Yamada, but Yamada passes the credit back and saying, hey, it's not me, it's you. You're the one who got yourself to grow, not me. Even though, you know, she's one of the active, she's the main active chemical that's causing him to change, but it's overall, you know what, it actually really comes back to what I was talking about in the beginning. If you guys skimmed over that one, I was talking about the whole idea of the PAISEN and how people can change, or people can change and will change over the years. And so it actually lays in line with what I was talking about, where, right, he has been given all this opportunity. He has met Yamada and he went through all of this. But he could have gone through all of this and still have that same mindset that he has, which is she's not my friend. She probably is making fun of me, right? He would still have all of that mindset, and like, even though he's hanging out with her, he wouldn't be able to change if he kept that mindset. Or he still has it, but like, you know, it's cracking a little bit, and he's letting more things in. It's so if he could continue with that mindset, he would never change. And so the fact that Yamada goes and says, hey, it's not me, it's you, it makes him perhaps come to the realization that it's him who wants this change this whole time, right? He wants to change, and he can change, and Yamada has given him that opportunity to change, and he's now, you know, despite hesitant at first, he's taking this opportunity to change himself for the better. Okay, this goes back to what Kana was saying to Yamada. She actually says, I don't want it to be overbearing for you. I don't want to be overbearing, but thank you for being his friend. And that's because Kana knows what has been going on with Ichikawa, right? And the same goes for his mom as well, with the way that when his mom was talking to Yamada for the first time before the parent-student meeting conference, she talked about how, like, oh, Ichikawa has been telling me how fun he's been having at school. And then this also goes back to Kana, where she mentions, like, hey, this is the second time you've told us about about your school trip. You're complaining, but it seems like you've had a lot of fun. With them making that whole point, well, it's all coming to fruition as he finally talks about his first year in middle school, where perhaps out of a feeling of, well, and also after her hugging him, and he comes to realize that, you know, he wants to get a little hug too. and that feeling of him, you know, he wants his feelings to lay bare. He wants people to see it. And did he say it in the anime? I can't remember whether he says it in the anime or not. I just want to check again. Yeah, he did say it. So this armor is what let me come to school. I always told myself this was why I didn't fit in. And yeah, dude, this moment, I don't know why, I got a little emotional. I felt a little lump in my throat. I was just like, oh my god. My goodness. But with him saying that, and going back to how he felt year one, right, he uses this murder stuff as his defense, as his armor, and it drives other people away from him, because perhaps, as what we see with what he did with Yamada, right, once he kind of has an idea that perhaps she was using him this whole time, he tries to push her away. He tries to get back to how his normal self was. You know, the guy who reads the murder encyclopedia and all that. And we saw it with the Smidge as well. But perhaps this whole ideal that he brought upon himself, or this armor that he's brought upon himself, comes from the fact that he failed to get into his actual school, the school that he actually wanted to be in. Whether it's, I would assume it's the same school that his friends from cram school, you know, its elementary friends came as well. So he wanted to be there with them, but he couldn't. And despite his friends saying, hey, we should keep in contact even after we joined junior high, he didn't. It looks like, you know, we've been following Ichikawa this whole season, and he has not talked about his elementary friends this whole time, so he definitely did not keep in contact with his friends, and he shuts himself in, right? He dons on this armor, and anybody who sees this very spiky armor, they don't want to get near him, because they're like, oh, what a fucking freak, right? He's reading the murder encyclopedia. And here is Yamada, who comes in and breaks down his armor piece by piece. Right, you can still see that he has his defense up this whole time, as frustrating as it is, with him talking about how, like, oh, she's not going to invite me over to her house, right? He's still got that armor on, but she's piecing it off piece by piece. She's piecing it off piece by, yeah, she's doing that, and you know, that truly is the one thing that I really wish, is that we got to see a little bit more of Ichikawa's thoughts that kind of just got erased in order to fit with this, you know, with the fucking time that we've got for the last episode. So that's my only other nitpick stuff, is that I just wish we got to see more of his inner thoughts, because that would be a little bit nicer and more context in the way that he feels, but yeah, it's whatever. It's whatever. Ichikawa has his armor, Yamada picks it off, and finally at the point where she discovers his murder files again, right? And he tries to explain it all, and the thoughts that we didn't get to see in the anime, again, it's just him trying to, like, oh my god, she's finding it, she's gonna think I'm creepy and whatever, right? He was dreading it, but then she looks back at him with a smile and says, wow, that's cool, that's some psychology stuff, right? And that's and it's like, this is his armor, he dons it on, but she's not disgusted by this. She's not well, I mean, she already likes him at this point, so, like, him having this weird fucking hobby, I mean, she already knows that he reads these stuff, right? He has it at school, but she doesn't really make too much of a fucking comment about it. And the time that she actually gets to make a comment about it here, she just says wow, and that's it. And that's like, and it's just kind of like, at this point, you realize that this defense that he has is just, it has been nullified by Yamada, right? She's not affected by it at all. And with him talking about this book again, and him kind of glancing at the book, and then she hugs him, right? And he just drops his book. It's a literal form of him dropping his defense, right? Because he says, this is my armor, this is my defense, and he just drops the book as she hugs him. And it's just nice, because again, other than this moment being like a really big moment of change for Ichikawa, this is the moment where, and also, you know, him bearing his heart to Yamada, this is the moment where he drops his guard. And we see it. It's his literal guard dropping, and him finally being able to hug Yamada back. So nice. So nice. I love this. I love it. I love it. I love these two. As I said, BokuYaba is, well, I don't know if I said it, but I wrote it in the title of the first episode, which is, this is the best rom-com, and I will die on that hill. I will. I will. And I'll die with a smile on my face on that hill. But, God, it's come to a close. As I've mentioned, I think that there's like a leak that there's a season 2. I haven't really seen the announcement just yet, but I hear that as like a leak. We'll just have to see when it happens. We do have enough material for season 2, not season 3. We're kind of on season 3 material right now, but we don't have enough to flesh out for an entire season 3. But it would be nice to see a season 2. I don't think anybody would complain if there was a season 2. So that would be that would be fun and interesting. But I pretty much have gone over the whole entire episode, so let me just give you my thoughts on the anime as a whole. I love it. I love it. If you're the sort of person who really wants like ratings and all that, I'd already kind of put in my rating before this episode ended, but I would give this like a fucking solid 8 out of 10, right? The manga itself is a 9 out of 10, but the anime, it's an 8 out of 10 for me. I don't know why I always feel very pretentious when when I think about it, and when I feel like I'm about to say it, but like if you look into my anime list and you see my rating, I don't really give things 8 out of 10 or 9 out of 10 a lot. A lot of anime that I watch that I like, they tend to be like 6 or 7 out of 10 for me anyways. That's how I feel, but like that doesn't mean that I don't enjoy them, right? I still have a good time. That's how I feel for it, you know, like a 6 out of 10 according to my anime list is a fine. And if I find it that it's a fine anime, I'm like, yeah, that's a 6 out of 10. But I don't give 9s or 8s a lot. I don't really have a series that I feel like it's a 10 out of 10 for me. You know, I don't, you know, maybe as I grow older, I'll feel a little bit looser. And you know, perhaps I'll toss out 10 out of 10s one of these days, but it's still not those days. But I feel like I've been giving out a lot more 8s. I feel like I've been giving out a lot more 8s, and this is what this anime is for me. It certainly is an 8 out of 10. I love the voice acting. The voice actor, Yamada, the voice actor for Yamada is great, but also I fucking hear her everywhere at this point. I just happen to pick anime that she voice characters in. So, so there's that. I also really like Ichikawa's voice actor as well. Just him making all these like ha noises is just very fun. But it fits the both of them as a character, and I very much enjoy that. The art style, it's very different. Well, not very, but it's different from the manga, and especially how the manga started to how the manga is right now in terms of the art style change. It kind of I'm not an artist, so like, you know, take it all with a grain of salt. But yeah, the art style is a little bit, I was gonna say fresher, but it's a little bit cuter, on the cuter side. And that's the one thing that the anime does, where it focuses a lot more on the wholesome side than the more darkish side that the manga likes to lean in a little bit more. And it's an understandable action that they've decided to focus more on the sweets instead of the darks. Because it will garner more people, and it'll actually bring it'll bring people in a lot more than how the manga starts off, right? So it's nice that they've decided to do that. I still wish, the manga head within me still wish that they would lean a little bit more on the darker side, but if they had done that, God, imagine the amount of people who would have dropped within like the first 3 episodes. I mean, I've got a friend who wants to watch BokuYaba as well, but they're telling me that they think that the main character is a creep, and that's one of the big reason why they haven't really started watching it yet. And I'm just kind of like, well, fuck, if you think that Ichikawa is a fucking creep and you haven't seen him in the anime yet, like, just wait until you fucking see him in the fucking manga. Not to say that he is a creep, right? It's just how other people interpret him as, because he's putting on this defense, right? We've learned this episode that this identity that he has, it's a defense this whole time. I was talking about the anime, right? I went on a rant about something. Oh yeah, the art style, to which I do have that nitpick that I had mentioned early on in the episode, in the anime, with the height discrepancies. It always feels like people are just really tall. I actually ended up watching a reaction for this series because I'm just a fucking sucker for this. And now that the anime is over, I'm just gonna be on a bit of a reaction binge for other people who are specifically anime only for this show, just because I want to see what people react to it. But I was watching this one reaction channel, and the girl in the group makes a comment about like, wow, these kids are really tall, and I was just like, fuck, they're not supposed to be tall. It was what we saw during the school trip when they went to the manga studio, right? It was just like, wow, these kids are taller than the adults. It's like, yeah, it's a group of tall kids for some fucking reason. Why are they so tall? So that's the other sort of thing that I wish that they kind of, but it also showcases it in the art style again, right, where the characters look a lot thinner. That's what it is. They look a lot thinner, and they look they don't look like middle schoolers. They kind of look a little bit more like they're in high school, but they're actually in middle school. So it's anyways, we get little comments from Yamada that I don't want to talk about, and if I see it, all right, I've decided that if I see those sort of comments about Yamada, you're off my channel for good. But that includes with the art style as well. So like, it's you know, like I kind of I wish it was I wish we actually showed their more correct height, but also I wish that it was like that, so then we don't have to see like a group of tall kids, because Moeka and Serina, they're not that tall as Yamada. All right, it looked like a group of tall girls out here, and it's not, right? Yamada is like 5'7" at the very least, and 5'7" in Japan is like super fucking tall. She's taller than the average man in Japan, and like that's supposed to be the whole thing, right? She's a fucking tall girl, and. And the anime just makes it look like it's nothing by showcasing that Moeko and Serina are almost the same height as her. To which that would mean they would be like 5'5" or 5'6", which is still taller than the average Japanese woman. So yeah, there's that. But moving away from like the art style and stuff, I really enjoy the music. Wow, I especially love the way that they did it in episode 9 with I Hate Yamada, and the way that the music felt very ominous and dark as he goes into that phase of, oh, was Yamada using me this whole time, right? And then as the music kind of gradually unraveled as he and Yamada start making up with each other. So I love the music. I think it fits most of the scenes. I really like it, but I currently can't really figure out what part that I say in terms of like for the most part. I'm thinking about Adachi, the scene. I think it's episode 5, was it, where Adachi tells Ichikawa about his lust essentially for Yamada. It was like they were playing a bit of a comical music. It was somewhere around there. I think I made a point about it, but I currently can't remember what it is. So, you know, if you've seen that episode, you know what I was talking about probably. I don't know. If I didn't, just ask me in the comments or something and I'll figure it out. I know that I said I was going to move away from the art style, but I am thinking about the animation now. Where, of course, we've had that one episode where they upped Yamada's boob physics by like 120%. So that was fucking wild. I don't know why I decided to do that, but they did it, and it was just fucking wild. But for most of the scenes, you know, most of the nice scenes that the manga readers are looking for, I thought that they did really well on it. And okay, moving away from the art style and the animation, whatever, we're not gonna talk about it again. In terms of the way that they reorganized the chapters in the episodes, right? Because in these early episodes where they just follow, I mean, they're still in school, but yeah, in the early episodes, besides, you know, the last three episodes where they are off school and all that, but with these episodes, they were able to just kind of just rip off a few chunks of the manga, or just rip a chapter in half and then put it in the beginning and then put it in the half and kind of put it towards the end, and just kind of make a story in between that. I do like the way that they structure these for the most part. Right there, but all the things that I say when I say for the most part, and then I have like nitpicks about it, but again, these nitpicks aren't like game changing for me or anything. It's just me being a manga head, but overall, I really like the creative liberty that they took, and the fact that they have some anime-only scenes as well that, you know, accommodates for the story. I very much enjoy, except for that one scene with the PAISEN. I didn't really like that. But it's whatever, right? We'll just have to see how they continue with the PAISEN in the anime for this, but we'll just have to see. The side characters. We've got Moeko, Serina. We didn't really get much of Serina, which is a little unfortunate, but also I think that's kind of how it is in the manga as well. I genuinely feel like we don't really get a lot of Serina, and I kind of wish we do, but from what you can see, we don't. Serina is the one that kind of gets the least screen time out of the friend group. Moeko and Kobayashi are the two that gets more screen time, and they specifically have a bit more of a role than Serina, which is one of the reasons why Serina doesn't really get as much screen time, right? Moeko, we kind of have this girl who is interested in romance, so she gets Yamada into some shenanigans, like the whole asking for your line stuff, or taking her out in order to see if some boys will hit on them, because Yamada is just such a fucking beauty, right? She was trying to use Yamada out here, which, you know what, fucking you do you, Moeko. And then we've got Kobayashi, who is registered as Yamada's boyfriend. So because we've got that role for Kobayashi, we do see Kobayashi a whole lot more. And also just because Kobayashi is Yamada's best friend, they're always together for the most part, and Yamada gets very touchy when it comes to when it comes to Kobayashi. And I also find it very fun that her best friend is also a person who went to the same elementary as Ichikawa. But yeah, for Yamada's friend group, I like them overall. Of course, you know me, I love Moeko. I absolutely love her. Moeko is sort of the character that gives me lingering feelings of Mitsudomoe. And even though I've mentioned this before as well, where I probably wouldn't want to watch Mitsudomoe ever again, and like if I do watch it nowadays, I'd probably feel very icky. But when I was a kid and I read Mitsudomoe, I thought it was a very fun comedic anime, and Moeko gives me that vibes because she's literally like the one lingering character who came from Mitsudomoe, even straight down from her character design and the way that she looks in the manga. So yeah, she very much reminds me of a Mitsudomoe character, and that's why I very much enjoy Moeko. And also, you know, her attitude overall is very fun. But yeah, Yamada's friend group, very nice. We've also got Hara and Kanzaki and Adachi, who are more or less on Ichikawa's side. I mean, Hara is a little bit more in the middle between Ichikawa and Yamada, right? Hara is the one person who knows about Ichikawa and Yamada's low budding relationship, and she's also dating, well, not really, I don't know, they went on one date with for Kanzaki, right? She went on that one date with him, and you know, he also went to the school trip with her as well. We didn't get to see that, but that was an extra if I remember. But I also enjoy Hara's character as well, consider that she's the one character who has not the same body type as other people. I don't know. You know, it's always, you know, when it comes to anime and stuff, they kind of showcase a lot of more, you know, slim figure people and all that. So for Hara to be that one person here to talk about the, you know, her issue with her weight and how it makes her not feel pretty and all that. So it's nice that Hara is here for that sort of issue, but also it's nice that she's here in between Ichikawa and Yamada, and yeah, you know, she and Yamada are these two people who get to talk about their little romance that happens with each other, right? They get to have their little girl talks. So yeah, I really like that, and we don't really see too much of Kanzaki, but we know that Kanzaki and Adachi and that other kid whose name I don't know because we don't really see him as much, but Kanzaki and Adachi and the other kid, they're the fucking perverts of the group, of the class, or of the series, right? They make all these perverted jokes, all these jokes that I would assume most of the guys who are watching would be like, yeah, you know, I feel like I've made some of those jokes before, like, oh, I fucking get that, right? That sort of feeling. I don't get that feeling, right? I only have like one idea of like boy talk back in like elementary, and that's like the only thing that sticks with me. I'll never tell you about it, but so, you know, I don't really get that, but I also understand that this is probably how boys would talk with each other, you know, back in middle school, especially when your hormones getting all fucking wired up and everything. And okay, I went on a tangent, but we were talking about Kanzaki and Adachi. Well, yeah, Kanzaki, we don't really see too much of him, so, you know, he's there, you know, he's got a little bit of a fetish for thick girls. And that's why he likes Hara, and it seems like they're having their own little budding relationship or whatever, or at least I think I said it when we saw them, where it feels like the both of them, you know, perhaps they've got an interest in each other, and it seems like they're trying to figure out whether they really like each other or not. You know, they're playing the field and everything. So it's very nice. Their relationship is just a little bit different from Yamada and Ichikawa. So it's very nice just to see like a whole different sort of couple and see how they go about it compared to our main couple. But yeah, other than that, you know, Kanzaki, not really too much, but it seems like he has a better reputation than Adachi, so I can only assume that Kanzaki, other than that blurt that he did towards Hara, where he talks about how he loves thick girls, I feel like perhaps he's less of a pervert than, well, I mean, he's still on the same level as Adachi, but he's like less, like he knows how to put on a mask, right? I would kind of assume that's how it is. That's why when they were doing the group vote for the group vote, yeah, when the girls were doing the group vote in order to see which boys they were going to take in, they decided to take Kanzaki as the first one, because I would assume he looked the less dangerous. But there's Adachi who, well, I've already laid my lines on Adachi for the most part, right? He's just a perverted boy who doesn't know when to shut the fuck up sometimes. He has a lot of curious questions that are very fucking stupid, but hey, you know what? He's a fucking stupid boy, so just let him do him. But when he's not talking about his perverted stuff, when he's actually talking about genuine topics towards other people that isn't perverted, right? When he was talking about like Point and Crow, is that what the manga was? But when he was talking about that manga with Moeko and Serena, he can get along with them, right? And talk about these other things that isn't super fucking perverted. So, you know, for the most part, once he kind of figures that maybe I shouldn't talk about perverted stuff or try to do all these perverted things all the time to other girls, maybe then he could get himself a girl or girlfriend or whatever. I don't know. You know, Adachi, you do you. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the side. I mean, there's the family as well, but I'm not going to talk about them because I'm going to go on forever. But yeah, the side characters I very much enjoy. When it comes to shows like these, I certainly enjoy side characters a lot more than I do main characters. Well, not shows like these, but in shows in general, I tend to like side characters than I do main characters, just because I like them. I just like them more than I usually do. But in this show, I do like Ichikawa and Yamada more out of everybody in here. Well, okay, that's a lie. I like Moeko more than... Okay, here's the pyramid. At the top, it's Moeko. Right below is Ichikawa and Yamada, and then below that is all the other side characters. That's how that pyramid goes. Okay, so I talked just a little about the voice acting, I talked about the art style, and just a little bit about the animation. I talked about the music, I talked about the side characters, I talked about the chapter structures. Am I missing anything else? Okay, this also goes back to the art style, but I do love the color theory in this show. Whether it's showcasing us in like a yellow light, a purple light, a blue light, just to showcase the mood of the scenery, or how if Ichikawa and Yamada are having a little bit of an intimate moment, it's always in a bit of a darker scene, right? A darker scenario where it really feels like when you're in the dark with someone, it feels like they're the only person there. So it's very nice to showcase that feeling of closeness between the two of them in terms of color theory and the lighting and everything, right? So I very much enjoy that as well. But overall, I like the anime. I thought that this was a really good adaptation to the manga. There are some scenes that I very much enjoy a whole lot more seeing it animated, you know, seeing Yamada animated and her just eating her food. That scene where she got the little crepe and she just like she tried to wipe the cream off with the fucking cream of the crepe. That was great, you know, seeing those sort of shenanigans that Yamada does animated is very fun. So there are certain scenes that I very much enjoy a lot more in the anime than I do in the manga, but overall, right, I do, you know, there are some anime that does really well that I very much enjoy a whole lot more than the manga, but this anime currently isn't one of it. I still very much enjoy the manga a whole lot more, and if this has gotten you interested in reading the manga, I highly recommend it. it does give off a bit of a different feel from how you get from the anime, especially in the beginning, but it still rolls back into that very wholesome, that sweet wholesomeness that you get from the show. And there's just a whole lot more context, a whole lot more stuff, right? Norio Sakurai, she loves drawing extras on Twitter and everything. It's you get so much more context from that. And sometimes you might think to yourself, is that non-canon? Is she just making that for no reason? No, a lot of her extra stuff are canon. So it's very nice just to get very small minor details, and if you're reading the scanlations, you'll probably get to see like the Twitter extras and all that, and all the other very sus extra that I won't talk about. That we'll just pretend it's not there for the moment. But you won't really get the extras in like in the mangas or any of that. But okay. I also just want to make sure that, if you're in America and you want to buy a physical copy yourself and, read the manga and all that, I do have an Amazon shop where you can just click on it and it's an affiliate link, and I'll get some kickback if you've decided to buy the manga and all that. I if you can't support me on like Patreon or whatever, if you do want to support me, I forgot that's the first thing. If you want to support me and you don't have it, if you don't got time for Patreon, you don't want to watch full length or whatever, one of the other ways to support me is just checking out my Amazon shop, where I post all my Yuri manga recommendations and also all my gears and all that fucking jazz. But I also have BokuYaba in my Yuri recommendations as well, despite it not being a Yuri. So it's in there somewhere. And if you want to buy it and you've decided that you're going to buy it through my Amazon affiliate link, all the better, right? All the better. Oh my god, I just went on a tangent about my Amazon shop. Yeah, this anime, it's good, but it certainly makes me want to just reread the manga over and over and over and over. And that's usually how I feel about this manga a lot of times, where if we get a new chapter that's very profound and like it changes a lot of things, it makes me want to just go and reread it and see where Norio Sakurai has implemented this fucking seed for it to bloom later on in the series, right? Because that's I forgot to mention, that's one of the things that I really love about BokuYaba, is that Norio Sakurai has this planned out a lot, which is also a reason why I love Iruma as well. That's also one of my favorite manga series. And so Norio Sakurai plants all these seeds that you can see in the anime as well, right? The one thing that currently is in my head right now is the fucking it's the milk tea, which also comes from the extra, whatever, I'm not gonna talk about that. So, like, the whole milk tea thing, where in the anime, she was talking about milk tea during the work stuff, and then when they got separated, Ichikawa decided he's going to buy milk tea, because he overheard that she likes milk tea. It's just a nice little seed that gets put, and it's even something that gets put, not even something, but, there are stuff that's in the beginning that gets seeded, and then it gets used later on, and it just, if you remember these sort of things, it makes the whole reveal, makes the whole change and everything a whole lot more fun. But also because we've got all these things implanted into the story that's gonna bloom later on, it makes the reread a whole lot better to see where you pick it, where it picks up. It's like trying to figure out the point where Yamada really likes where Yamada finds that she likes Ichikawa, right? And for me, and also now I think about, Norio Sakurai made a timeline for when they really started falling in love. And also, if you're anime only, I recommend to not look at that timeline because it is spoilers. But Norio made a timeline about that, from where she actually liked him, and from the way that timeline looks like, it really showcases that the moment that she really falls for him is the tissue stuff, right? It's so nice. And even Norio put it beforehand, right, where in episode 1, she sees it as he's just some sort of interesting kid, right? He doesn't really talk to anybody. He's always reading his murder encyclopedia and all that, so he seemed like an interesting kid. And then after the scene with the PAISEN, where he throws his bike and makes that joke, that Yamada joke, and Yamada laughs at that, that's when she thinks that he's a funny guy, right? He's a funny boy. So she's all interested in him, and like she wants to talk to him a little bit more because he makes her laugh, and she likes that. And then after that, right? That's when she kind of gets to the point where like, oh, maybe he's an interesting person, right? Maybe he's an interesting person, and that's why you kind of see her staring at him at the gym before she gets hit by the basketball, and then her nose broke, and she's having her sad little time and all that, and him giving out all the tissues, and her coming in and seeing that this is because she knows that it's him, right? And it's just so extravagant and just so overdone that it's very funny. Right? It makes her laugh and it makes her forget about this bad time that she's having. So like somewhere around there, right? Perhaps that's like really the time that she really fell for him, and she actually come to realize that, oh, this is my feeling that, you know, that I like him, and that's the point where you kind of see that she really starts pursuing him, like romantically, like actually trying to romantic, but emotionally, right? Because they really start to have an emotional bond, as with what Ichikawa and Yamada both said in the their favorite part in the first volume of Kimi Ito Octave, right? Where the both of them, even though we also didn't really see too much of the description of it in the manga, because they kind of just glossed over it a little bit. Their only line was just when their favorite part was when the both of the characters are talking with each other through their notebook, you know, having that quiet conversation with each other where nobody else can see it for the most part. It's like it's the same thing as them having their conversation in the library where nobody really comes in. So I lost my train of thought. Anyways, I don't know what else I was going to say, so just read the manga. Or wait and see if there's going to be a season 2 if you don't want to read the manga. You know, that's totally fine too. I'm not going to fucking, you know, be here and tell you to just read the manga all the time. Unless you're on my Discord, then I will be there to tell you to read the manga. But if you're not on my Discord, you're safe, alright? You're safe for now. But unfortunately, that's the end of BokuYaba. Again, I appreciate those who are here, like literally here at the end, and you just didn't skip the outro for some reason. But I appreciate you for being here. I'm glad that you're here listening to my fucking rant that just doesn't make sense a lot of the time. And yeah, if you've been here with me since episode 1, I appreciate ya. I hope you stick around, and again, if you don't, I'll see you when I see you guys. Oh yeah, and if I have anything else to say, I'll write it in the description and whatever. Oh, whatever. I'll see you guys when I see you guys.